All right, we're live.
Sweet.
I'm in Hawaii
again. Is that how long are you there for, John?
For till the 20th, like 2.5 weeks. About.
Okay. Yeah. Is this a house swap thing or?
Yeah. Yep. Swapping home. So.
Very cool.
Did you get a good deal, or did they get a good deal?
I mean, I think it's pretty equivalent, like for the pricing of the houses, right? It's like.
Yeah, go by the pricing. Yeah.
This is out there. This place though is like up in the. We're up a little bit in the mountain. We're at like 2,500 feet elevation. So.
Ooh, so you're cold. I mean, or not cold, but definitely cool.
Yeah, it's about like 10 degrees cooler than when you go down to the beach.
So you're not really getting much of a change from the June San Diego weather.
Yeah, not too much.
Yeah, I was gonna say like San Diego. It's hard to beat that climate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have San Diego in my weather app on my phone just for fun because I'm like, it'll be like 17 degrees outside and the wind chill will be like -3, and I'll flip over to San Diego and it's like 63 degrees and sunny, and then it'll be 90 degrees here, same deal, 72 degrees and sunny. So.
Yeah, I have Hawaii on my weather app. I have Miami on my weather app. I have Austin on my weather app. I have yeah, man, it's crazy. I track everything because I love the damn all these. Like I want to see what's going on with them.
So Manny, how's your launch going?
Okay, so sent around 600 plus clicks so far.
Okay.
And I think around 17 sales.
Oh, you got 17. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
What's your price point on this again?
$300.
Okay.
So 5K on 600 clicks. Yeah. But a lot of yesterday I got emails from people saying, "Hey man, I like your emails. Can you please unsubscribe me from your meditation emails?" I'm like, shit, yeah. I need to, there should be every email should be like that. It should just say that in there. There should be a place where it says, "Don't want this topic."
Just
no.
No.
You don't think so?
Everyone, you're being initiated. You just got to send fucking emails. Don't worry. Like a couple of people complain, big deal. They're gonna unsubscribe. It's fine. But you just got to send an email. Remember, think about what would have happened if you would have just given up after you sent that first email, and you're like, "Oh, there's only been one sale, or there's no sales, right?" Yeah. You keep on saying you got 17 or 16 sales after that. So,
right. Yeah. What's the timeline again? So this is early bird?
Tonight, yeah.
Okay.
Tonight, early bird closes. After that, I don't know how many sales will come through. I actually did an experiment. So I went complete video sales letter and then just the offer, as in the workshop details.
Okay.
And because initially I had the text sales letter, but I realized I'm not good at converting on text. Like I really cannot convey emotion. I cannot convey any kind of excitement. I'm just not good at writing. So I was like, screw it. I'll just go ahead and record this damn thing. Literally took me 30 minutes to record the whole sales video. And also I kind of made the offer, moved the offer up. Here, check it out.
Okay.
I have actually 2 versions now.
Did you find that having written the sales letter made it easy to do the VSL? Or easier?
Maybe just getting all my thoughts out there helped me kind of structure the whole thought, how I put it together, but not in terms of what I would say. The structure was was more helpful, but in terms of what I would say, it's just easier for me to say those things and with emotion and with feeling, the way when I'm animated and when I'm talking about stuff, compared to when I'm writing. I just cannot convey that emotion, man.
And your audience likes video, so that's not such a bad thing. This page you sent me looks horrible, by the way.
Shit.
I don't know if it's just me. It looks like the formatting's goofed.
Oh, you're getting the 5. Shit, man. I know what the. Okay, so over the last 12 hours, I've been getting this 542 error all the fucking time, and then it keeps, like it says, I'm not gonna not gonna run some scripts that are unsecure, and it basically literally doesn't run half the script.
Let me.
So if you refresh it a bunch of times, or if you change the browser.
That's not an ideal user experience.
No, it's a horrible experience. And I got on the cold. Huh?
Oh, yeah. Insecure content blocked. I see that. Load unsafe scripts.
Yeah, what is this? Do you know what the fuck it is? Because yesterday I was on call with Bluehost for like an hour trying to figure this out. I couldn't at 12 in the night.
Well, it sounds like, I mean, it might be a tracking script or something, Manny. Let me look and see. What are the scripts?
It looks terrible.
Yeah,
you do.
Yeah,
you too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Manny. It looks like all the pages are the requests are going out. A lot of the content is being requested as HTTP. If you just look at the Chrome developer tools, like there's an image, the WP content, the books for Entree 192 by 192. That's coming through as a HTTP request.
I've actually made all the images are non-clickable now.
Well, it's not a link. It's the image itself is loading in the page as a HTTP instead of HTTPS.
How do I change that?
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. This is your problem. Okay. Just take the link that you're using right now that you just sent. Is that the link that you are sending out in your emails?
Yeah.
Or are you sending one without the S?
It wouldn't matter here because it should redirect with to HTTPS.
It matters big time.
Okay, it is always. S. Let me see. It always. This is the one I sent though.
Load it right now without the S.
So if it redirects to the S, then it won't complain about the mixed content.
This is the one I'm sending HTTPS.
I think this is an issue with your WordPress configuration because, like, yeah, basically a lot of the links are getting just put into the HTML by WordPress as HTTP, and so.
So what do I do here?
So there's a couple of things. One, the site is working without HTTPS, right? If you just take the S off and load that same page, watch, it'll load fine.
Do you have a pretty link, Manny, that you're sending in emails?
I'm sending this link, HTTPS code www.sharp. Well, HTTP that I just loaded right now, it looks okay.
Yeah, HTTP, it looks fine.
Yeah. So what you need to do, if you want the site to be HTTPS, then in your WordPress config, you have to change it to HTTPS instead of
where?
Oh yes, on your, it's in your settings. It's under general, I think.
Yeah.
It lists your base URL or your main your main website listed as HTTPS instead of HTTP.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm going there right now, guys. I want to fix this because I'm like.
And while you're doing that, Manny, if you're not doing this already, and we have learned through painful experience that I never send out a bare link anymore in an email. It's always a pretty link, because if something gets screwed up, that gives you the flexibility. Once the email's gone out.
No, this is a redirect. So this is a
okay.
redirect. So it is a pretty link, I guess.
Okay, well then you could update. If you can't fix this, you can update the redirect to go to the HTTP version without the S.
No, because then some browsers will start complaining this connection is insecure. It'll show the red padlock and do all sorts of crazy shit.
Well, people won't buy. They won't click the buy button on an HTTP page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you click through, I guess it takes you to an HTTPS.
Yeah, it does.
So people will be okay with it.
Well, you never know. Like, nobody's thinking about, oh, the cart is secure, this page is not secure.
For a long time, we were selling on HTTP on our sales pages until we.
But
try
nowadays
adding some stuff.
browsers are starting to barf. Like they're literally like starting to complain.
Yeah, I just tested it though. You're okay. Like I would just change that for now.
Like
Yeah.
okay, so in my settings, I just need to change HTTP to HTTPS. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hypothetically,
WordPress and site
that's
let's
true.
break.
WordPress address
You,
Barring any plugin issues.
yeah, you definitely. This is definitely the time to do it, right? It's in the middle of a launch.
Live.
That's just your
By the way,
We're cowboy coding the launch here.
I have a sponsor call at 11, so
Okay.
if we're not done by then, I'm just going to jump off.
just those general settings. That's all there is. Is there anything else in fucking the WordPress that I need to change?
You might have to change something in like your WP config, but I would try it first and see.
Yeah, that keep my hands off until end of today.
Yeah, but if it's the WP config, it's basically the same change. You're just gonna force it. You're gonna go say, hey, look, everything is HTTPS.
Force it now to HTTPS. Let's see what happens now. Is that's it? Just one little thing there? I'm surprised.
I think so.
Okay. Well, you guys want to check out those two links now? See what happens.
The other thing you can do. Where are you hosting this?
Bluehost.
So if there's some option on Bluehost to force all of the stuff for 2000books.com to HTTPS, that may also solve it, because then anyone who's requesting any of those resources, it's going to redirect them to HTTPS, and then everything will be happy anyway.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, it's still.
Is there some plugin that is still what?
Still busted for me. Yeah.
Might have to.
Yeah, it's still busted for me too.
Yeah.
Is there any caching, Manny, on Bluehost that you know of?
I have some caching plugins.
Oh, okay, that might be it. Then you might need to.
Yeah.
Let me redo it one more time, and I'll bust the cache with a query string.
Do it on a empty incognito.
Yeah, it could be cached on the server side too. Actually, yeah, it looks good to me.
Yeah.
If I bust the cache, so you got to clear your cache out.
Oh, that's not bad.
So hang on, I need to do something about it.
Yeah, you got to clear the cache in your WordPress side, because we tried it with the query string at the end. That's how you can test.
Yeah.
That busted the cache.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm an expert at busting caches.
Yeah, looks fine now.
Let me share my screen here so you guys can tell me exactly what to do. I don't want to bust not just my cache, but everything.
What's your caching plugin? What do you use? WP Rocket or?
I think Total Cache. Let me see.
Yeah. So if you go to the total cache and then just tell it to clear your page cache.
Yeah, that should do it. Because the HTML is it's already rendered the HTML, and that's the problem.
Yeah. I mean, you won't have the problem for, oh wait, yeah, you will.
Yeah.
New.
No, anybody, the only people that won't get it will be people that hit it with a new query string like we did.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
W3 Total Cache is what I have. I'm going into settings here.
Yeah, so this could be a factor in your. Yours. Actually, that's not too bad though. Like, let's see what the click. What's your total subscribers for this?
Mail it out to everyone, so around 10K.
Okay. So that's 2.8% on page views.
Yeah.
That's not bad on a, and you're going to probably double.
Rather niche product.
Yeah, I would expect that you would sell another 30 to 50%, or like almost double what you've done so far today.
Yeah.
So
especially with a functioning sales page.
Yeah.
That always helps.
It does.
Shit, man, I've been having this problem since fucking yesterday. Maybe all along. I just didn't know about it.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a lot of settings here. Anyone know save settings and purge caches? It's got like 5 different settings on save settings and purge caches.
What cache are you using?
W3 Total Cache.
Just hit the ones for purging caches.
Yeah, you just want to
There's a lot of them, man. Page cache, Minify,
do all of them.
uh,
Do all of them.
opcode, database,
Do all of them.
object, browser, CDN.
Do all of them because
Dude,
because you
Yeah.
like I mean the database one might not be necessary, but I would just do them all. It'll rebuild it all very quickly, so you don't get that much traffic. It won't hurt anything.
Yeah. Is there a way to like purge all the caches with
I
one?
don't know.
I don't know. They're probably, as long as you hit the page cache, that's the most important.
Yeah, the page.
Oh, one or more plugins have been activated or deactivated. Please empty the page cache and check the Minify settings to maintain the desired user experience.
Yeah, the Minify one could be important because
True.
that
So let me just empty the cache, page cache. Fuck, man. Oh, you know what happened? One or more plugins have been activated or deactivated. I actually updated all my Thrive Themes plugins because they were having some stupid issues.
okay.
So I'm not sure if that could cause all these problems.
It probably could because those pages were built in Thrive, right?
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yep. Is it working, John?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it looks so Manny, it sounds like your overall conversion rate is 0.1% so far out of 10,000.
Yeah, but on page conversion for
this is a
sales.
this is a good example I think of like I bet you that if you look at your total opens for all these emails when you're done, you'll get a pretty good sense for what the market share for meditation is on your list. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So like basically you're only going to get those people.
Yeah, exactly. Meditation is a very niche thing. What I'm
it's
thinking is,
it's the equivalent of JavaScript for us.
yeah. I think in the future, I'm just gonna put it as a bump and maybe sell it to those who have already showed interest or downloaded meditation and not sell it to the entire list just because too many people are complaining. Not complaining, but unsubscribing and like all that shit. I'm going to go through, John said fucking push through. I'm like, all right, fuck it. But this is the only time I probably do a full-blown launch for something like that.
Yeah, this is just a learning experience that you have to go through where you have to figure out what are the broad topics and what are the niche topics.
Yeah.
And this is clearly a niche topic. So, and it's interesting because you'll get like misleading data from your subscribers because you might hear like, okay, so far I've got about 36 people signed up for the membership site, and probably half to 2/3 of them are either freelancers or entrepreneurs, or working on starting a business of some kind, or like a surprising number of them have internet marketing experience, which is not at all representative of our list at all. So
but
you
probably that's people who are actually exposed to the idea of a mastermind.
Yeah, or at least so far, those are the ones that have bet on it. So they're so far the ones that I presented the offer to have been people that have been on the list for a long time and have really high lead scores. So they're like over 500 in drip. So they've probably they read every freaking thing we send out. Bought multiple products. They were a bunch of them were on the book launch team from last year. So it's just but yeah, the demographic's been interesting. It's not at all representative of the main list.
Some people are getting antsy in the Facebook group, I noticed.
Are getting antsy? Or what?
Well, they're like, is the Patreon closed now? Or are we
oh, okay. I should probably jump in there and clarify things.
Manny, it's not working yet. Did you clear all the caches?
I am in the process of going through the process of basically doing exactly that, creating all the crashes. Let me say yes when I have done for all of them.
Okay.
So yeah, John, I've definitely replaced the Patreon income at this point. So
yeah, yep.
How much was the
Patreon on $1,000? Well, we started at like a maybe $1,200 when we first launched it, and then it's just sort of gradually dwindled down. It's down to like maybe like $300 or $400 now, I think, something like that.
Yeah, Patreon probably is, it works for YouTube more or less, not for anything else, right?
John, I don't know that how many subscribers have we gotten since the launch to that? Any idea?
On Patreon?
Yeah, we didn't push it at all in.
No, we were pushing it at first, and then we stopped. I don't know. We got a few like.
Yeah, probably like 90% of the subscribers that we got were from email. So it was
yeah.
A lot of people signed up for were wanting the Facebook group.
What if I just like killed the whole like plugin, the caching plugin? Maybe
that might not be a bad idea. That might not be a bad idea.
Just for this launch, maybe it will be slow, but it will clear out all the fucking stupid things that are going on.
I don't think it will be slow enough that it matters.
Right. So what do you think, John?
Well, disable it and let's see what happens here.
Disable it.
I mean,
yeah, do it and I'll tell you.
Yeah. Fuck, man. Okay, so I'm getting around what? Like $7 per click, maybe $7 to $8 per click right now. Just maybe decent. Do you guys go by per click at all?
Only like we've talked about this before. Really, to me, it matters when you're comparing changes within a campaign. But the per click number is not useful when you are evaluating how effective something was overall, right? Because you've got 10,000 subscribers, so what matters is dollars per subscriber, not dollars per click. Because you could get one person to click through and buy, and your dollars per click would be 300, but you'd only make $300.
So what's a good dollar per subscriber number that people use for?
So like, I mean, just overall, if you're doing like $1 per subscriber a month, that's really good.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too.
So yeah, I mean, it's kind of just, it's relative. Really, your market is gonna.
Okay, I've deactivated the cache.
Okay, I'll try it.
No, what the heck? It's still not.
Fastest cache. I've got 2 fucking caching softwares.
Well, it might, John. Make sure it's not cached in your browser. I just did a hard refresh and now it's taking a minute to load. So there we go. Yep. It is kind of slow though, Manny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So well, we've indicated it's definitely a caching problem then. So
right.
You could
if you reactivate the cache, it might fix it. Caching is of Satan, I'm telling you.
It is. It is.
We have, oh my gosh, John gifted me with not 1, not 2, but at least 5 layers of caching on Simple Programmer.
Yeah.
And probably some I haven't discovered yet. Oh gosh. Yeah, our SEO team. Did I tell you, John, that the SEO team just like went in and started changing some of the optimization stuff? And I was like, no.
Exactly.
Yeah, they switched out the caching plugin and I was like, what? No, don't do that. Don't do that. It's like, it's a bit of a house of cards and I'm always afraid like.
Yeah. Optimization is always like, even when we're doing like phone designs back at Qualcomm and working with like Sony and Samsung and all these guys, any given moment, you think you're the king of the world because you've optimized the fuck out of some algorithm, and then you've broken something completely different. You're like, what? I didn't do that. Yeah. Of course you did it. You just didn't know you did it. Optimization is such a fucking beast of
whack-a-mole.
Yeah. Same with power. Like when we started doing power changes, it would break everything. Yeah. They would go and fix everything, and then the power is back up again. And you're like, what the hell? Yeah. And caching is one of the major pains.
Yes. So all right. Well, so we've got that at least partially resolved, and
it's fine. The people who click will wait around for that shit. Better to do that.
Chuck, you want to explain the comment you just?
So I just typed in the chat because I had some stuff go down this week. First of all, and it kind of pushed me past my threshold. So I emailed all of my co-hosts and I said, guys, I'm not recording for like 3 weeks. And they all went, okay, take whatever time you need. but yeah, so I was going in to set things up so that I could basically put up a little bit better page that basically said, here's how you can order or find out more about sponsorships, right? And I just kind of wanted that media kit kind of thing, right? So that people could come in and get the information they wanted. And it was going to have most of the information that I get asked for at a glance, and then you could click to go to a page that had deeper information on any given package or podcast. Anyway, so I was going in to update the numbers, and I went into Blueberry, and the numbers were all about half of what I expected them to be.
Oh no.
And so Blueberry, for those that aren't familiar with them, they're doing all of the numbers tracking for downloads for the podcasts. And so I was like, okay. And so I started looking. I'm going back and I'm looking at all the different shows. And initially I was looking at JavaScript Jabber, I think. And there's like this really sharp drop off at the end of November, beginning of December. And I'm like, that's weird.
Oh, no.
I'm like, what happened there, right? And I don't know if like I changed something in the technology stack for the podcasts or if it's their tracking or what. But then I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go, pull the other numbers for the other shows and I'll look into this. So I go start looking into that and they all drop off at the same time.
Oh no.
All of them.
You've been producing a podcast that nobody's been listening to. So.
No
one's told you.
I find it somewhat suspicious that all of a sudden we lost half of our traffic at once. And I seem to vaguely remember seeing some kind of notice come through that said, hey, we're changing our algorithm. But I just don't know for sure. And so I don't know if they changed their algorithm. And the thing is it's completely a black box, right?
Right.
It's completely a black box. So I looked into it more and more, and there was nothing I could figure out. And yeah, I don't know. I know that they do some deduplicating. So if it looks like it's the same device, then they will rule it out as a unique. Which makes sense, right? I don't want to double bill people for traffic they're not getting. I want to make sure people are getting good value. So, that doesn't bother me so much, but I have no idea what's going on in there. And I've been working on this PodWrench system for a while anyway. So yeah, so for this was on Wednesday. So yesterday I pretty much threw together my own tracking system, which I had one before. It was written in Sinatra, but it was running on Keen.io. Which is what Derek was using for signaling.
Yeah. Yep.
And I just did a bunch of research and realized that I don't need Keen.io and I don't need to pay them $100 and something a month. I'll run it on PostgreSQL until I have reason to switch, and then I'll probably just switch over to like Cosmos DB or something on Azure if I need the scaling and stuff. And then I'm pretty sure that it's both cheaper and their system is set up to handle all kinds of crazy stuff. So,
can you run both systems in parallel for a while? Is that possible?
What? Cosmos and
Postgres? Collect stats both in Blueberry and on your own thing for a while? Okay.
Yeah, because the way that it works is with Blueberry, you send it to I think it's media.blueberry.com/ and then your show's slug. And then basically you put in the URL for the actual media file. And so I'm probably just going to do that. I'm just going to put in the, in fact, in the tracking system, I think I'm just going to allow it to flag episodes with Blueberry or PodTrack.
Okay.
And that way, when you create the episode, it'll just run off of the show's setup and send you along to the right place. And then if you change the show setting, then it'll go find all your past episodes in this system and just update them. Use Blueberry.
Nice.
But yeah, just I don't know. I don't know what else to do. I mean, putting a proxy in the middle of it seems like a good idea. It also seems like a good way for me to test my system, because eventually I want to provide this as part of the service anyway.
Right.
And so I can kind of get them both going. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to go back and switch like the first 20 episodes of JavaScript Jabber, because they still get a few hundred apiece.
Yeah.
And that way I'm not overwhelming the system, and I can still get those numbers.
Right.
And then if that all works, then I'll go in and I'll switch more of them over.
Yeah, the reason I asked about running both in parallel, I was wondering if you could do it on the same episodes, because there's a way to track. Okay, because you might want to do that, because that way you can almost you can retroactively adjust the numbers that you're getting from Blueberry. Because if you need to provide like a quarter, you know what I mean? Like, because they're gonna want you need to like, you know, update the history of those shows so that it's accurate versus whatever happened in Blueberry.
Yeah, I think honestly what I'm going to do with a lot of this is I'm just going to, because I'm going to try and export the data from Blueberry. And then I like to add some mechanism for, you know, adding numbers in one way or the other. But even if I don't, I mean, I can let sponsors know, hey, look, you know, we switched to a new tracking system on, you know, June 15th, or, you know, whenever we move everything over to this new system. And then, you know, basically say, so these numbers are accurate for downloads that occurred after that.
Right.
So episodes that were released before June 15th are, you know, their numbers are going to be lower than actual, because, you know.
Right. That's pretty cool though. I mean, like, so I've been, there's this email newsletter advertising marketplace called paved.com. And I signed up with that. The guy actually contacted me cold and kind of badgered me into trying it out. And it's actually really cool what they've built. So you basically you put your newsletter in there, you put your subscriber information, like all the data about your thing, and then the advertisers can come in and they can just buy space in your newsletter, pick dates, and then send you the creative. But then what's cool is they've generated tracking links. So you get a tracking link. The link that I put in my newsletter is a tracking link that routes via Paved. So then once the campaign goes out, all of the data ends up in Paved, and it's completely transparent between me and the advertiser, which is like solves a huge, you know, because there's like, you can do your tracking, and then they do their tracking, and they're like, well, we're showing, you know, half as many clicks as you are, and this like completely eliminates all of that. And it's I was pretty impressed. It's pretty slick.
Yeah, I want to build that into, so that it tracks the clicks from the website, it tracks clicks from newsletter, and then basically, it gives both you and your sponsor a report, right? So it's here's how many impressions, you know, here's how many audio impressions you got, here's how many visual impressions you got, here's how many clicks you got, here's how many. So again, people can set up like a pretty link on their, you know, so devchat.tv/DigitalOcean is currently sponsoring, you know, and so then it just forwards through, and it just tells them, it's like, look, you got to use our forwarding link, right?
Yep.
And that way they can get like full visibility on this stuff, because that's the other thing that I'm finding, is that getting actual numbers from these sponsors is impossible. And the problem is that when you're trying to troubleshoot this crap, they have all the information. So they're telling you, we're not getting the ROI we want.
Right.
And I'm telling them, okay, well, what kind of numbers are you getting? Who are you getting? And, you know, and that way we can tweak it, right? Oh, well, we just want to quit anyway. You know, I get that periodically, probably one or two of those a year. You know, I get somebody, well, it's just not working. And what it really boils down to is, it's like, look, you know, let's change the messaging on this. You know, I mean, I'll redesign your banner. I don't, you know, but, you know, let's try something a little bit different. And
Yeah. Sometimes it's just that's like the excuse they're giving you to. They just don't want to do it for whatever reason, and
yeah, sometimes there's some internal political, you know, but yeah, at least then you have the numbers and you can just look at them and say, okay, let's go through these numbers together.
Yeah.
Or,
yeah,
you know, after the first 2 episodes that they sponsor, you can say, look, it looks like we're not getting the kind of response I expected. Let's try this. And so it allows the podcaster to be a little bit more proactive. But yeah, it was just, so that broke. And then, I've just been really super burned out. I told you guys about this last week. And so, yeah, I recorded podcast episodes on Tuesday, and then I realized that I just couldn't. And so Wednesday I was like, oh, well, maybe I'm feeling a little bit better. And then that hit and I was like, nope, I'm done. So I'm really just going to iron a lot of this crap out. The other thing is that I've also been trying to put together kind of a cohesive mission for the entire podcast network. And that way I can just tell people, hey, look, this is what I'm doing, right? It's not, we're producing podcasts, because ultimately that's not what I'm trying to do. It's just the way I'm trying to do it. And so it's been really eating at me lately. It's just like, you know what? I don't have a good way of, you know, articulating what I'm after and what I'm doing and what I care about. And so I'm working on that. And then I'm also going to, you know, it's the same thing with, like, I've had some shows where hosts haven't showed up and things like that. And so I also, that drives me crazy. So I'm like, okay, well, I need to set some solid expectations, right? If you're not here at least, you know, 75% of the time, you're out. Or
what do the hosts get? What is their incentive?
So at this point, they generally get exposure. And I have so many people who are willing to be hosts on the show, to where it really hasn't been terribly hard to replace people when they, you know, but like Adventures in Angular, I think at this point we have like 8 people who are on the list of quote unquote regulars. And we usually have like 3 people or 3 regulars on the show. And I'm just like, okay, you know what? I'm tired of trying to herd you to showing up. So we're going to standardize the system. And if you're not coming, then I'm going to take you off the list.
Yeah.
And that way I don't have to worry about it.
There must be something. Why are they not showing up?
So it depends on the host. I mean, some of them, their travel schedule gets a little bit crazy. And if they'll let me know in advance, I'm pretty okay with it, unless we just don't have anybody showing up on a regular basis. And some of them are well known enough to where their travel schedule is actually helpful to the show, even because when they're not there, they're out there promoting themselves, right? And so that comes back and helps. But some of these folks, it just seems like they're not very well organized. And so even if they have a calendar invite and an email the day before, they may not show up, and there may not be a reason for it. And I don't have time to babysit some of these people. And, you know, for the most part, my hosts are terrific. I'm complaining about probably 2, maybe 3 people.
All right.
Out of 20 or so, right? So, but at the same time, it's really frustrating. Like, there was an episode a few weeks ago where the guest showed up, and I told everybody I was going to be out of town, and nobody else showed.
All right, I got the book you need to read. That'll help you.
Yeah.
It's called.
And so,
oh, go ahead.
What's the book?
Oh, it's called "Pimp: The Story of My Life" by Iceberg Slim. Because this is essentially
that's exactly what I was going to recommend.
Yeah, exactly, right. Like, you just gotta like break your foot off in their asses. And,
yeah.
You gotta get them fine. Get them.
Well, the thing is I recognize I'm not paying these guys. I'm not
exactly
right.
That's why you got to read that book.
And so it's like look, you know, if you don't want to be on the show, there are other people that do.
Yeah. You got to tell them, baby, I'll make you a star. That's it.
Anyway,
I got to read this book now.
Yeah. That's what you're doing. You're
Yeah.
basically getting people to work without paying them, giving them.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
But my
yeah,
main
gotta
issue was just
come down
the
on it.
numbers, and then I just feel like I'm running around 6 different ways, and I didn't have time to fix everything because I'm recording 8 episodes a week. So I'm probably going to retire from some of these shows.
Yeah, that really sounds like it needs to happen.
There are a few of them that run fine without me. And then, yeah, we'll just, we'll put them on the same model as iFreaks and Freelancer Show. And then I'll just show up to maybe 2 or 3 that I really deeply care about.
Would it be useful to? It sounds like the approach that you're using now is a little bit more on the passive side, in that people are having stuff pushed at them, and I'm wondering if you could flip that around and almost like this could be something that you could task out, but basically have people opt in every week or something. Like I'm going to be here, like commit to being there or something, because what you're doing is you've got this standing meeting, right? And so whenever you have a standing meeting and there's more than 2 people involved, everybody starts to feel like it's optional.
That's a good idea. And I could build that into PodWrench, where essentially, an episode gets scheduled or a recording date gets set.
I'm coming, I'm not coming. They get an email.
Yeah. They get an email and I'm coming or I'm not coming. And then what it does is once you get a certain number of I'm not comings, so we have some target, like, 5, maybe, 5 regulars and then the guest or guests, right? And so then what it does is, it has kind of these are the people to invite first. And then if they say no, then you invite the next person. And then, once we get within a week or 2, then it just says, okay, anybody who hasn't responded, we're just going to assume they're not coming, and it's going to email that many more alternates.
Yeah. And then if you get to the end of the list, you send SWAT teams to all the houses and force the issue.
Well, if we get to the end of the thing, I'm assuming still we'll probably have 3-4 people show up, and that's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you could have it flag you if you don't have a quorum.
Yeah. If we don't have a quorum, then
then you have to get on there and you're like, how's it going? I'm Jane. You hear all these different voices, like, hey, what's up? Let's do this episode. All right, we're ready.
You should hear me read books to my kids. I do voices when I read them.
There you go.
But yeah.
That could be a business for you there, actually, a side business, like podcast guest appearance as a service.
Yeah. But anyway, so it all just kind of came to a head, and I was like, I either need to change the way I'm doing this or quit, because I can't keep going the way I'm going. And honestly, I feel like at this point too, I've read a few other books where it talks about your role in your business. And at this point, the critical role that I play isn't podcast host, right? The critical role that I play is production and sponsorship.
Yep.
And so, it's managing that stuff. So I either need to get somebody else to do the production and the sponsorship, which I'm working on. But in the meantime, I need to focus on that and then play the host when I have to.
The hosting is the easiest thing to replace yourself on, probably.
It is. It is definitely the easiest thing to replace myself on. I did talk to somebody that I think they listened to this show, and he actually, we actually had a conversation, and he sounded interested in taking over sponsorship sales.
I think you got a pretty scalable business model here.
Yeah.
But sales, like you as the entrepreneur are the one who has to make it rain. So having someone else take over sales doesn't sound like the best thing. Having you hire talent and get money could be the highest leverage activities in your business. Everything else has to run.
Yeah.
Yeah. The flip side, though, is that if people, that's true if people are buying into me and my process around the business, right? But if people are seeing the business as more than just myself, and I have a salesperson that can represent the shows well as their own entities, or the network as an opportunity to advertise, I really think that I can outsource that.
Yeah, you can in the long term, but you've got to create the processes and systems and everything else. When they do this, you've got to do that. When they say this, you got to literally create a sales process. That's your highest leverage value here.
Absolutely.
A lot of entrepreneurs do actually try to outsource the hardest, most critical stuff first, and that's the opposite. You kind of want to start with it's like first you do bookkeeping,
get the trivial stuff off your
exactly, bookkeeping, and then sales and marketing is like the last thing that you let go of.
Every time I used to, back when I was interviewing authors, they would always wonder about how, if they could find a way to like sell their course, if they could just create a course and then if it could sell itself. And I was like, this is the only part that you need to figure out how to do. Actually, creation is much easier than selling of the damn thing. And they would always get like really frustrated with their idea that, no, man, I have all the knowledge. I'm like, this is it. This is the business. But if you can't figure this out, then everything else is just going to be struggling all along. But they want to so bad outsource the marketing, which is the most painful part of the business. So that's the business. That is the business.
Well, the other thing is that if you are the talent, then 80% of what people are buying is you as the talent, right? It's not just, can you teach me how to blah, 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 whatever I want to do. It's also, are you actually capable of getting me to where I want to go? And it has nothing to do with the actual content. So
you are not like, I mean, at this point, at this stage, seems like you're not the talent. You're just the business owner, which is a great place to be.
Yeah, it's definitely getting that way, but the business cannot afford to pay me and pay somebody else to do a lot of the work that it needs done.
Yeah, and you have to be the.
But I'm also the bottleneck on a lot of that stuff, and I need to get out of that position.
Well, with the sales thing, that is something you could start off straight commission.
That's what I'm looking at. Is look at straight commission. You get. I don't even know what a good commission is, but I'd probably give them, a much lower commission on renewals, right? Because they don't have to do any work. They just go back and say, you know what, you want to renew, blah blah blah. Let's make sure we're still in line. And then any new business they bring in, that's where they get a lot more of the commission.
Can you get your host to do that?
No, I wouldn't try that. Yeah,
no.
I mean they could make money.
Most of my hosts are in it for other reasons.
Yeah, you don't want to bring the money into it.
Yeah, like so with Simple Programmer writers, it's the same way. Like I've thought about, so most of them are, like it's hard to hire somebody who's making, potentially, $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 a year. It's hard to hire them for anything that's worth their time. If you're a small business, right?
Okay.
So,
in fact, we tried this, right? I tried to hire writers from our email list, and people were like asking for fucking $100 an hour to write.
Exactly.
An ebook. I was like, what the fuck?
Well, the other thing is these folks really aren't in it for the money. I mean, some of them they get exposure for like their Pluralsight courses or something, and that translates to dollars, but it doesn't translate directly to dollars. And it's also, in a lot of ways, an extension of some other community thing that they're working on. Yeah. And so it doesn't match with the incentives they have for doing this stuff. So
Chuck, I think you have the most scalable business of any of us.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I was thinking.
Which is pretty cool.
I think
it's funny because I didn't actually start out planning on building a business, right? It was just
how it happens.
I think you do too, Josh. It's me and John who don't really have anything scalable here.
Well, I'm working on it. Let's see.
How's the mastermind going?
Good so far. Yeah, so I've got
I see the only emails you send out these days are mastermind emails.
that's going to change next week for a little while, but yeah, for the most part, I'm going to be basically just like promoting the mastermind and promoting the wait list, you know, and then just kind of pounding that day after day after day. And then so I decided today I was going to do the interview cake. I was wanting to do rerun that promotion next week, but Parker's got some stuff he's working on, so we're going to do it the following week. So next week, I decided I'm going to do a paid webinar on LinkedIn. So I've been doing a lot of like LinkedIn profile critiques, and I want to build a LinkedIn course at some point. And I felt myself slipping into that, like, okay, I'm going to make this thing into a huge project that I never actually complete. So I'm going to just do the paid webinar thing just to kind of get, this will also be a good, I really want to get a good read on like, all right, where am I with the email list right now? Like how, like, I do think that John stepping back has had a pretty big impact. I think people are pretty aware of it. And yeah, I'm getting questions, especially like even in the mastermind group and stuff, I'm getting a lot of questions about people like wondering like, you know, what my plans are and everything. So,
yeah, you could have, I mean, have you been building a lot of authority, like building a lot of story in your email about yourself? Because that's part of the building process, right?
Yeah, what I typically do is I don't do like, I'm not planning to do like a big epic, like, this is Josh. And, you know, it's just, but I did an email this week where I talked about my experience, like with the Sublime text product. And like, I got some pretty good response to that. I got several people that like replied and were really, really appreciative of it and everything. So I'm just going to sort of start to do that, just sort of build, you know, fill in the pieces of my background and everything as I do topical emails. That's my style.
Yeah, because whatever you're trying to sell, you're building the story, or those people have to be sold on your story around that idea.
Yeah. So it does seem like I've gotten, it's nice actually stepping into this.
I've got to sign off for this sponsor call, guys. I will talk to you next week.
See ya.
Okay. Yeah.
It does seem like stepping into, like, there's just a certain level of authority that's conferred. Like, it's pretty funny. Like, I have access to a Drip account, so therefore I must be an expert. And yeah, so like, I've actually gotten much less pushback than I anticipated. It's been, the transition so far has been easier than what I thought.
Yeah. I'd love to see more stories, your stories on the email list, because then I can associate with you as the expert or the authority or whatever it is. Like if it's LinkedIn, maybe stories, like, you know, all of that. I'm just saying I would like to see your stories rather than just some story, because you do write some stories and sometimes those stories are about other people. But what I would enjoy, what would make you an expert in my mind is to see your personal experiences with LinkedIn or your personal experience with meditation or whatever it is.
Right. That makes sense. So yeah, so I'm going to be doing that next week. I just decided today, I'm just like, screw it. I'm just going to do this. It's going to be ugly. I'm just going to get it out there. I don't even know what software I'm going to use. I don't have anything. All I have so far is I wrote an email this morning with a survey to ask people what questions they have about LinkedIn. It's going out on Saturday, so tomorrow. So that's going to just be one of my quick and dirty, ugly things. And I think what I'm going to do, so I've been wanting to bring in Jason, from the guy that I got to know through the Thinkful promotion. I want to work with him as a coach for Simple Programmer, but I've been wanting to bring him in as like a coach for the mastermind group, but I'm really uncomfortable right now with where the list, like with where our revenue is, and with John stepping back, and I don't really feel like I have a good read on like, okay, are our product sales going to recover? Are they going to stay where they are? You know, what's going on? And I don't know yet where the mastermind group will top out. Like if it gets to, it might get to 10,000. I might be able to get it to $10,000 a month, or it might top out at 3. So I was wanting to bring Jason in with some kind of either like, you know, some kind of revenue share or something. But I'm like, I'm not comfortable right now sharing any of the mastermind revenue. So what I'm going to I think what I'm going to do with him is try to do a GitHub course, because I want to do like a how to create a portfolio on GitHub that is impressive. And this is something he worked with his students a lot at Thinkful on. So I want to do like probably just do another webinar like this as the start of that. But I think I'm just going to work with him on that, because that way he comes in, he's not an expense. He is immediately contributing to the bottom line. And then, you know, maybe I can bring him in to handle. I'd like to. It would be nice to have somebody to handle the coaching side of things, and kind of develop, you know, plans and curriculums and stuff for the membership group. But they're not there yet.
You can hire John.
There you go. Yeah, so I don't. You'll see how this goes. It will give me a good. I feel like it'll give me a good read on the email list, and just how difficult is it going to be for me to push it forward? This will be a nice, like, it's a pretty simple. It's like a one-time purchase of. I'm going to charge $19 for it, so it's a one-time purchase, $19. I should be able to sell 500 to 1,000 of them, I think. Like, so that's what I'm targeting.
10K?
Yeah.
10K to 20K?
10 to 20K. If I do significantly less than that, that's a little bit of troubling. So I also decided to, John, officially shut down SublimeTextTips.com.
I'll tell you this, though. There's always a problem with anything you do live, because people have time issues. I've been having that as one of the biggest challenges with my meditation course. They're like, when are you running it? And I'm like, shit, you know, I know certain people just won't be able to. So I wouldn't hold my breath just because of that, because if it's live, then you will lose so many people because of the timing.
That is true. I did one of these for my joshuaearl.com list about 2 or 3 years ago now. So I have a bit of a benchmark on that. And there were definitely people that, but I mean, I'm going to record it and it will be available. It's going to be available to everyone that attends as a recording. And then it will also be, I think I'm going to give it free to the members. So, because what I want to start to do is build a content library for the membership. And I think I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to sell the one-time membership. I may get fancy later and hook it up so that you can check out, buy the one-time thing, and then I give you the upsell of like, hey, buy a year, or buy the membership, and you'll essentially get the webinar for free.
So instead of selling it as a live webinar, have you considered selling it as a mini course? Same freaking thing, but selling it as a mini course.
I should probably phrase it. I don't ever use the word webinar with software developers, because it's or as a live course compared to a live course compared to a recorded course, because if it's a course that's available, I guess you're trying to make it fast. Yeah, I've been using the word training.
But $10 to $20 doesn't really need much of a sales page.
No, I don't even know if I'm going to do a sales page at all. It might just be a buy now button and like a headline or something. So since I'll be selling it from the email, I don't even know, like, I'm not sure that I'm going to sell this afterwards. I have no plans for what to do with it afterwards. I might sell it. I might just keep it free, only to the members. Not sure, but just going to slam it together and get it out there. So yeah, I merged. So John, today I merged the Sublime newsletter list with Simple Programmer, which we've talked about doing for 2 years. Yeah. And so we now have 110,000 subscribers. So I'm sure I'll be getting an email from Drip saying your list has grown. But I deleted. No,
actually, we won't, because they were under the same account, right?
Well, I haven't unsubscribed all those other ones yet. I'm going to do that this weekend. I wanted to make sure that everything worked, and it seems like it did.
So how are you doing this transition for the Sublime guys to be
all right, so basically I sent an email, and this is a good template to use for if you're waking up a list that is dead, deactivated, or changing directions with your list or something like that. So I sent, the subject line was goodbye and hello, and I said, hey, you signed up for my Sublime newsletter a while back. I've changed directions. Now I'm running this site called simpleprogrammer.com. And here's all the stuff that we talk about. And since there are so many software developers on this list, I decided that it would be a good idea to just bring them together. If you don't want to, if that's not cool with you, here's the unsubscribe link. And I put it right in the body of the email. so far I've gotten like around, let me look at it. It's been around 1% unsubscribed so far, which is high. But there was one guy actually emailed me and said, "Hey, Josh, I was on Sublime list because I use Sublime for writing. And so I'm unsubscribing, but I just wanted to let you know why I'm unsubscribing. I really like everything you did and blah, blah, blah." So no backlash so far. And yeah, one unsubscribes 1.2% so far.
That's actually not bad at all.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, and open rate is 20.4% already. And I just sent this like at 10 o'clock, so 3 hours ago. So it'll probably get like a 35% open rate. I'll probably end up around 2% unsubscribes. And I will have added basically 35,000 subscribers to the list. So
hey, welcome. We need to get them into the productivity thing now.
yeah, there you go. Well, it'll be good because I mean, I'll be doing LinkedIn next week. Oh, and I didn't finish the email. So I said, here's the unsubscribe link. And then I said, if you know, I hope you stick around. Next week, I'm going to be talking all about how you can use LinkedIn to get a job, blah, blah, blah.
Perfect.
So I was teasing what's coming, telling them what it's about, giving them the option to opt out. And so far, zero complaints. I've gotten a few unsubscribes, but yes, basically zero complaints.
Hey, we got to do the productivity thing because I have an upsell now.
Okay, with the meditation or?
Yeah, with the meditation that actually works. Or in the sense, I know I can sell the upsell and
Right.
probably also have a bump. So we can do multiple upsells now.
All right. Well, I was actually, I'm committed to do the LinkedIn thing now. So maybe early July we can do it.
Early July. Let's do it.
So next week I've got LinkedIn. The week after that I'll probably be doing interview cake. So yeah.
All right, let's do early July then. I'm gonna get
all
all your bumps and upsells. So many of them. No.
Cool. Yeah. So. I crushed Zapier though, John. What happened was I have a Zapier task to send a Google Analytics event whenever we get a new email subscriber. I got 39,000 email subscribers today when I imported that list. So I had to upgrade to the top tier of Zapier temporarily. I got 3 emails. They're like, you have used 80% of your tasks. You have used all of your tasks. It's like, okay.
I mean, of course, there will be ongoing attrition with that email list because they'll get indoctrinated into a new thing and everything. But that's pretty sizable chunk. Are you gonna introduce them to John, or are you you probably have a lot of work to do to kind of transition into that for that email list?
I'm just gonna put them into my general rotation, and they'll meet John. Kind of, John's not going anywhere. He's gonna be an ongoing figure that I talk about. So. But yeah, I don't have time to put together like a huge onboarding type of thing. I do eventually need an onboarding sequence that kind of, it's especially important with a membership to kind of indoctrinate people to, the main principles and everything. So I want to get there eventually,
But if you have 35,000 people, it might be worth indoctrinating them a little bit, even if it's not John, but overall, it's a pretty sizable chunk.
Yeah, they already know me. This is a list that is like, this was my 198,000 subscribers, 187,000 subscribers, now boiled down to 30 or 40,000. Yeah. So they're pretty familiar with me at this point.
Right, but when they come to Simple Programmer, all they see is John all the time, and they're like, "What happened here? Who's this guy?"
Well, I mean, they're going to see it on the website, but they won't see him in the emails at all. It'll just be me for the most part. So,
yeah, it would be good if you guys can somehow streamline the whole experience. Explain, this is what John does, this is what Josh does, this is the business. Because I feel like there's somewhat disconnects there in the sense what's on the website compared to what the emails come from. And there's Josh sending emails, so it's different.
One thing I also need to do is transition, and this will be an interesting experiment, but what I want to transition the existing email sequences to use my name, like basically rewrite them so that I'm talking about John, but sending them from my voice. Because I think it's going to be weird. Pretty soon it's going to start to seem really weird and jarring for people to sign up for an email course or something and then suddenly start hearing from John. So I need to address that. But
it would be amazing if you can kill John in the business. Then, right? No, seriously, because then you know you have a really scalable business.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. So phase John out.
John is kind of like Colonel Sanders, you know. He'll always be an important figure, but
yeah. Because scalability is a function of as little face as possible you can have and still sell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think at this point we're there though. Like,
yeah, I think so. If this LinkedIn will be, I'm so excited about it because it'll be a good test. I'm at this point nothing. I don't feel like I've done anything that has worked anywhere near as well as I would have expected it to since John retired. So this is kind of a good like reality check. Like, can I make something go well without John being involved? So, because it's basically everything's been significantly less than what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
I need to get back to winning.
Kill John.
I mean, we're basically everything is going to be more like, it'll be topical, you know, like I am going to end up becoming a bit of a celebrity / face of the business, but it won't be so much Oprah. I'm trying to think of the analogy. Who's a person? It's like somebody that is more replaceable. Like you're almost like a TV news anchor, right? Like when Tom Brokaw retired, the CBS evening or the NBC Evening News, like they got a new anchor and their ratings didn't really change all that much. But Tom was still like kind of the face of the franchise for a long time. So that's probably what's going to end up happening.
Okay, you guys check out this one, man. It's totally worth it.
Oh, Yaro Starik? Is that who
you know
is?
Yaro?
I know of him. I don't know. I'm not in his sphere at all, but
definitely the interview is worth listening to, but totally worth it. You'll see why.
Nice.
This is a podcast interview, and exactly what you guys are going through, this guy did it, and he did it pretty well.
Interesting. So Dan Faggella or something?
Dan Faggella. So what he was doing was he started off as Dan Faggella selling like martial arts courses.
Okay.
So he did a few of them himself, and then he started bringing in experts to sell their martial arts courses. And he literally, what he did was, I think for a year, every weekend he would write one new sales funnel, email funnel. That was his biggest business growth thing. Like build a new email funnel every freaking week for each of these courses. And over time, he basically took himself out of the business. Now the business runs all without himself. So if you have experts in your community, on your niche, who can create these courses and sell them, and you can help them sell them, then you are out of it. Both of you guys are out of it.
True.
That is where I want to go. Thanks for that interview. I'm going to definitely listen to that.
Yeah, definitely listen to it. It's totally worth it. It's something I also keep going back to because I want to figure out how to do this. Not be a personality like John.
I think for me, like what's going to be, I think the community is going to be the key, because the paid membership, because that's going to be, if I can get that, it's going to take a lot of work to get that to a certain point, to where it's become self-sustaining. But once I get to that point, then I will still be selling the community, but the community will really be the product versus me. And so that's very different than being the product yourself. That makes sense.
Yeah. We should, if we can, we should talk about this episode next time to see what we can do in each of our businesses to really try
good
to,
idea.
take the lessons from this and apply in our businesses. Because he did it in 2 years, literally from scratch to selling it for $1 million. And it's not like I'm saying you need to sell it, but then you become the operator, like you become the owner. You can hire someone to do all the specific tasks that he was doing.
Nice. Thoughts? Should we wrap up here?
Yeah.
John, you've been quiet today. You want to go first?
I think the thing I've been thinking about is I'm not sure if I don't think I did say this one, but to optimize for the future, for like a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, right? Instead of looking at the short immediate term, right? Like if everything that you're doing, if all of your plays and everything that you're working on essentially is to optimize your life for 3 years in the future, let's say 3 years, then you're going to make better decisions and choices, right? Whereas if you're optimizing for the present, or even just a short term, even in the next month or 2 months or 3 months or even year, it's too short of a horizon. So I've just been thinking about that. So that kind of actually it changes the way that you perceive things, right? Like I think things become not so immediately important, but then things that maybe weren't as important have a higher priority because it's got a long runway that you have to go down.
Yeah.
So
Sounds like it ties in quite nicely with the orders of consequences, right? So order of consequence with what Ray Dalio has been talking about. The second, the third, the fourth order consequences of everything you do. So my thoughts is that sometimes I'm conflicted right now. Sometimes I feel like I should just push through on certain things, no matter where the initial result is. At the same time, part of me saying I need to create better systems on evaluating what should be done and what should not be done in the first place.
I think those are not mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
Are you talking about this launch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking if it was worth doing the whole work for it.
Yeah, it's a learning experience, and that's the thing. It's like what you're gaining from this is not the revenue; it's the experience. Right? You have to.
I think we lost John there.
Oh,
there you go. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think for like with your situation, Manny, something like what I'm doing with the paid webinar, or something where you like launch something really small first, would probably be, because I do want to build a full LinkedIn course, and I think it's worth, I think it could be a $300 or $500 product, with maybe some coaching and everything. Like it could be a fully blown thing, but I've already tested the waters by sending an email, and I know I got 100 replies to this email. I said, "Are you interested in LinkedIn training? Hit reply and tell me." And I got 100 replies to that email. So I know there's interest. Now I'm going to see if there's, it'll be 3 days or 5 days worth of work to put this together. And then I'll know, okay, yeah, there's enough here to invest, in doing a full blown course. But that would, as far as systems, that would be the one thing that I would suggest versus doing a full blown course first.
Yeah. So I felt like I did parts of it, but I don't think I did a complete evaluation of it. I did sort of evaluation of it from like when people were downloading the meditation audio and stuff like that as a result of whatever up like a content upgrade and stuff like that. But I didn't really ask them, hey, would you be willing to join me for a paid?
Well, you have to get them to give you money.
Right.
They have to pay you. Like,
well, that's the experiment now, but it's too much marketing has gone into it. Like I'm glad I didn't really create the whole course, but too much marketing effort has gone into the damn thing, which I would like to avoid even more. Like do even less of that.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you can get like with this. I think that like if I do this LinkedIn thing, I will probably get as much, like I will probably get a pretty big chunk of the revenue that I would get if I did a full course, because I'm going to be picking low-hanging fruit on it, and it will give me a good indication as to if the water's deep enough for me to dive in. And the marketing is going to be like probably 5 emails and a landing page, and I'll be done. So,
yeah. So, how could I have done it faster, you're saying?
Well, I mean, you got to sell something, even if it's $5, even if it's like, even if it's, you know, a 30-minute meditation walkthrough or something. I mean, something that you can charge a small amount of money for, because the difference between lead magnet and paying, I mean, we saw this with the book, where people that signed up to get the book for free didn't buy anything.
Right.
I mean, it's stunning. And they were less likely to buy the book, even though they were presumably consuming it, week to week. They were much less, they were 3 to 5 times less likely to actually buy the book than people that came in cold off the list without.
Yeah. And I'm not even sure if I can evaluate this as a success or a failure right now, because I feel like I'll hit $1 per subscriber for the month, in the sense, with the launch only. So in some ways, maybe it is okay. So maybe, $10K for 10,000 subscribers.
I mean, I would say that, like, if I were you, for a launch like this, I would be looking at more with 10K subscribers. I'd be looking at more like 20 to 30K, because I sold my year and a half ago or 2 years ago, I did an email copywriting workshop. It's a 4-week workshop, kind of similar format to what you're doing. And I had 2,000, I was emailing basically 1,500 people, and I sold 20 seats and made about 10 to 12K on it.
Whoa.
So
how much
different.
was the,
it's a totally, yeah, I agree. Totally different. It was a $500 price point. But I'm saying that with your price point, it's a pretty high price point. You've got almost 10 times more. You got 8 times more subscribers than I did. For something to be worth repeating or worth sticking with, you want to be appealing to the broadest segment of your list that you can.
Yeah, I agree. This is going to be an upsell more than anything else, I guess, going forward.
I would say you're going to make some money. You're going to make some money in the future with it. It was profitable. It's not the most profitable thing you could have done. Learning experience. So,
John's been awfully quiet. What are your thoughts, John?
I mean, you got to try stuff. You got to see. I mean, and you also have to do stuff that you're interested in doing. And so you're interested in doing this. You wanted to create this product. You had a pretty good read on it. I mean, obviously, it's not going to appeal to your whole list. You got results. So follow through is the most important thing, right? I mean, once you commit down the path, right? Like we were talking the other day, you're like, oh, I think I'm going to stop sending emails. I'm done. And, that's like, had you done that, the danger would not be even in the loss of the revenue. It would have been that you wouldn't have known that 17 people were going to buy. I mean, you're going to sell more, obviously, by the end of the day, but you would have thought that, oh, this was a complete failure. So I guess, to go back to your original question, I mean, I agree with Josh. There's probably something more profitable for sure, but I don't think there's anything wrong with this. But the most important thing is that when you go down the path, you follow it all the way through and see what the actual, like, don't pull up early. Like, if you're going to crash, you got to crash. If because that's where you get the information from the black box after, the crashes, right? You don't gain any information if you pull up too soon, right? So you got to see what's going to happen. And so you did. and you got decent results. If you repeated this result, I mean, hell, if you did this every month and you made 10 to 12K a month with a list of 10,000 people, that would be pretty acceptable for your business, right? I mean, if your list doubles, then you'd make double that with the same amount of effort. So that's where I'd be looking at.
I would agree that there's probably more profitable niches in the list than this right now. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't really sell it again and again, right? It's something.
Yeah, I think if you sold this again 3 months from now, you'd get half to a third as much.
Yeah, it's not one of those things that will sell repeatedly at that price point. A lower price point may have been able to convert more people.
The one open question is whether you go past the early bird and do any more sales on it.
I will send email, and I'm not holding my breath at that point. I'll just let it be.
Yeah. I mean, are you going to
send a couple of emails? I'm not going to send like 10 emails during that week because it's done. Like I've done already the major emailing now because of the early bird. So now maybe a couple of emails and done. And I actually introduced a price point like $29 per month or $297 for the whole year. Dude, it's amazing. 90% of the people are still taking the full price. I don't get it.
It's the monthly. The monthly people. It's definitely it's tough to get people to sign up for something monthly.
I know. I didn't really want to. I would just wanted to do an experiment. I thought maybe that would improve sales. It didn't improve jack.
No, right? I found that the 3 monthly payments does seem to work, at least for us. Like right now with How to Market Yourself, basically all of our sales are 3 monthly payments.
Yeah.
So breaking it up into tiny chunks versus like just a couple and they're done with it. It breaks up the sting a little bit, but it also reduces the so 3 monthly payments reduces the risk, right? You think, okay, if this guy screws me, at least I can bail and I will only have lost 1 month. Mm-hmm. With 12 months, you might be getting into like, oh gosh, I'm going to be paying this bill as long as like a hamster would live. it starts to drag it on. Seem like a long commitment.
So at a $297 price point, I didn't want to do a $99 3-month prepay, right? So then I would have to go over $100 3pay, which initially I was like considering, and then I was like, no, that just looks bad.
We just, I wrestled with that too, but we ended up just going with not increasing the price. So it was $299, and then 3 pay. It's actually slightly less. It's like if you split it up, it's 3 payments of $99. So it's actually like what, $297 instead of 200.
99.
Yeah. So it ends up being a little. Most people charge you more if you pay, or charge you more monthly,
right?
As like interest financing, which is smart because we get probably 10 or 20% of them don't make all 3 payments. So,
but you get more sales.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that was a long thought.
Wasn't even a thought.
Yeah, my thought is it's really important to have a big goal. Like big goals will make you take big actions to achieve them. And if you don't have a big goal, it's really easy to just sort of get complacent. Like I have been, I've set myself a pretty big goal here for the next few months. And it's really like this LinkedIn thing was partly me thinking about how to achieve that goal. So, it's something that I probably just wouldn't have decided to do it if I didn't have this thing pushing me forward. So, I mean, your internal, like for me, internal motivation only goes so far, and having a little bit of external stress and a little external pressure gets the creative juices flowing. It's the tiger, the tiger chasing you, that gets you running faster. So
all the time. It's even better if you announce the goal to public, because then you get public accountability.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Enjoy Hawaii, John.
All right. I'll see you guys next week.
All right, see ya.
See you guys later. Bye-bye.